Hey guys, welcome back. For those that are coming back and for those that are new here, my name is Laura and I wanted to do a quick video for you guys because we are coming up on our year mark of cloth diapering, and while that is such a short amount of time, I feel like I learned quite a bit, not just about cloth diapering. Some things you can relate to just like life in general, but I feel like I've learned a lot in such a short amount of time. And there are 10 specific things that I learned that I kind of wanted to share with you guys as we are coming up on this year mark of cloth diapering. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on, I feel like a lot of people could possibly relate to, and that is if you want to try something, just try it. So I was someone who, even before Grace got here, I did a ton of research. I watched videos. I watched literally video after video, hours a day, just trying to figure out where to start, what was my best options, what different brands were like, just trying to get as much information as I possibly could. And I feel like that kind of held me back a bit because I continued to think what I would like, then doubt myself, then rethink. And it was just a whole cycle in my head. And I kind of wish I just would have started, which leads me into the second thing that I learned and the third thing that I learned. So second thing being that no matter how much research you do about cloth diapering or how many videos you watch, if you don't try something, you will never know if it's for you. So when I say this, I'm talking about sometimes people like different things. Sometimes different styles work for different people's families. Different systems, people love them and other people don't like them. So if you're doing all this research and you're kind of going off of other people's opinions, I know there are a lot of great educators in the cloth community and there are a lot of great reviews, but if you don't try something for yourself, you will never know how it's going to work for you, your baby, and your family. So that is a huge thing I learned because there are a couple of purchases I made based on other people's opinions, and I've gotten them and they're not the best fit for my family. Now, do I regret buying them? No, because I was able to try them and figure out what worked for our family. So I don't regret any of the purchases I've made based on other people's opinions. I think that it's great to try things out, again, because when you're starting out, you really don't know what's going to work for your family. People go into this thinking, oh, you know what? A lot of people love pocket diapers. I'm going to try pocket diapers. Then you end up trying them and they're not the best fit for your family. So you move on to something else, or you try something else and that ends up working better for you. That is a-okay. But if you never try something, you're not going to know if it fits your family. Just like if you don't start cloth diapering, but you really want to try it, but you're very hesitant, well, you're never going to know if it works for you if you don't try it. So that is something that I've learned, which also leads into something else, which I told you about, which is number 3. You are never going to be fully ready to do something. Sometimes you just need to do things before you're ready just to get yourself started. So I've heard someone say in the cloth community recently that when they received their diapers, it was just a whole nother feeling. Like you're trying something and you weren't fully ready, but now that you have the diapers in your hand, you're like so ready to go and so excited to do this thing. Your hesitation is still kind of there, but now that you have this and you get to try it out, you're super excited and you get really into it. So sometimes you're just never fully ready for something and you just kind of need to go with it, because I hear often people say, I regret not doing it earlier. But you don't often hear people say, yeah, I gave that a try and I really regret giving that a try. No, most of the time people say, I gave that a try and it wasn't a great fit for my family, but I'm glad I gave that a try. So I wanted to mention that as well. And that applies for a lot of things in life. Sometimes we're just not ready to do things and we just kind of need to take that leap of faith and trust in ourselves and just go with it. All right, so number 4, and I think this is going to be another reason why some people are hesitant to start, and that is stop caring what other people think. Do you know how many people have told me that when I was looking at cloth diapers, I would never stick with it? Oh, I give you so many days until you're done. Or isn't that disgusting? Or you're really gonna clean out poop from diapers? That's gross. Or I can't believe you do that. Or I can't believe you're even thinking of that. Or why would you do that when you can literally just throw a disposable away and not have to deal with that? Or people who say that's gonna mess up your washer. You're literally putting poop in the washer. And you have to realize that these people most of the time are just misinformed. They don't know what modern cloth diapering is like. And honestly, why do you care what other people think? I am someone who really used to care what other people think. And, I still do sometimes, but I try not to let it get to me anymore because this is my life and I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm not going to let other people's thoughts about certain things stop me from doing what makes me happy. And I really think that a lot of this discouraging talk and doubt from others really stops people from truly starting cloth and really enjoying it. And I know a lot of people say they don't have a lot of support, which brings me into another thing I've learned in this cloth diapering community. There are so many strangers, including myself, who are willing to support you 110%. If you need a cheerleader, I will be here. There are so many other people in the cloth community that will be here to cheer you on. Now, again, there are cloth diapering groups and things on Facebook that aren't that great, but after a while, you will realize what kind of group you're in. If you're in a supportive group or a not so supportive group, you will realize that eventually. And if you're not in a supportive environment, get out of the group. I did that recently and it has changed just about everything about how I'm feeling, and it gives me less anxiety. But let me tell you, people, there are so many supportive people in this community. So if you want to do it, try it. And if you feel like you don't have the support you need, join a cloth diaper community, whether that be on Facebook, Instagram, any kind of cloth diaper community that you can find that brings you joy. And I guarantee you that there is someone in that group that is more than willing to support and cheer you on. I cannot begin to even count how many cloth diaper moms that I have met in different groups that I almost talk to daily. And it amazes me because we are not even close location-wise, and I enjoy talking to these people all the time. So if you don't feel like you have that support at home or with family or friends around you, don't worry, we have you. We will cheer you on. And stop caring what people think, because it's not their lives, it's yours. So please do what makes you happy, not what makes them happy. Because in the end, if you regret something, that's not something that's on their mind, but it's going to be something that's on your mind. So make sure to jump into the cloth diaper community, and don't be afraid to post in those groups or share your experience in those groups. Because like I said, there are so many people that are more than willing to support you and encourage you and empower you. Another thing that I've learned, which kind of piggybacks off of that topic, is I learned that sometimes I need to remind myself why I started cloth diapering. So when people have these doubts about me and cloth diapering and how I'm going to do and whatever they may say, I started cloth diapering for our family. So when I say that, I mean for Grace. Something I didn't want to do is put disposables on her when I know there's carcinogens and things like that in disposables. There was also someone recently who came out, I think it was on TikTok I saw recently, where they said they worked with a disposable company and learned that the people that are dealing with the stuff that absorbs the liquid that expands into diapers, when people have to work with that stuff, they are like literally in full-on hazmat suits. So that is something that I didn't want to have to deal with and put against Grace's skin when I know that other people that are working with this stuff are in hazmat suits, and I'm putting this on my baby's most sensitive areas. So I did not want to do that, number one. Number two, I'm doing this for my family's budget. So the budgeting aspect was something that I had a little bit of trouble with in the beginning because, like you guys know, there are many cute prints, and of course I wanted to have quite a few of them. So that is something that I continue to need to remind myself. I started this for budget reasons and financial reasons as well. So that is something that I need to keep in mind when I'm wanting to try something new. So now if I'm wanting to try something new, I will go ahead and sell something I have already, and that will be what I use for the other diaper. Now, this was not something I did before. I bought so many diapers, literally so many. So that is something that I keep needing to remind myself. Why did I start this journey? So if you are in that cycle of continuing to buy and buy and buy, when you did this for a budget reason, I challenge you to find your inner why. So we are doing this to stay on budget and for financial reasons, and that is because we are trying to be debt-free, and that is a huge goal for us. We want to live with no bills other than our mortgage, so being consumer debt-free is a huge goal for us, and it would just change everything for our family, and we're almost there. We are like literally right at, like, you can see the finish line. So it is a huge reason for us, and I just need to keep reminding myself that no matter how much I want that diaper, being financially free and secure is so much more than buying a cute diaper print, you know? And if you're not where you want to be financially and you did this for financial reasons, you really need to dig deeper and find that why as to why did you start for financial reasons? Is this cute print really worth giving up something bigger in life? Finances are a huge thing. If giving up a diaper print is going to put food on your table, you better be putting food on your table. You know what I mean? So just keep revisiting why you started cloth if you find yourself continuing to buy more and more when you don't need it. So that is something that I struggled with in the past that I've gotten a lot better with over time. Now, yes, there are some times where I still struggle with it, but I keep reminding myself, do I want this cute diaper print, or do I want financial security for my family? You know, and let me tell you, that cute diaper print loses every single time. So that is a battle that I had previously that I kind of wanted to share. And again, that goes for also when people are doubting you. So if you're starting this because of financial reasons, don't let other people's negativity and misinformation take you away from something that's going to benefit you and your baby. So if you're doing this, whether that be for less chemicals on your baby, for financial reasons, for environmental reasons, no matter what you're doing it for, you're doing it for you, your baby, and if it's for environmental reasons, the planet. You know what I mean? So while other people may have negative thoughts, you're doing this for you and what you believe in and your goals. So even if people want to doubt you and be negative, make sure you're staying true to yourself, because in the end, that's really all that matters. And staying true to yourself also means staying true to your goals and staying true to why you started what you started. Okay, that turned into way more than I planned on it being. As far as other things I've also learned along the way, one thing I knew but didn't really expect to as much of a capacity as it was for me is this is going to be trial and error, just like anything else in life. When you try something new, there are going to be mistakes. You're not going to do everything perfectly. Everything is not going to end up working perfectly. And just because that's the case, it does not mean that you failed. It just means that there's little tweaking and sometimes things that are out of our control that we can adjust for. And when I talk about this, we've actually had detergent buildup, I think 2 separate times. So when we first got started, we got our wash routine from Fluff Love University, which a lot of people go to for wash routines, but what was recommended did not work for us whatsoever. And I know wash routines are like a huge topic in the cloth diaper world, and yeah, the routine just didn't work for us. We were putting in way too much detergent. And when I say way too much detergent, I think it recommended line 3 for our pre-wash and line 5 for our main wash. But guys, we have like the softest water that you can possibly get. And if I'm being honest, I put in like a pinch in our pre-wash and then 1 tablespoon in our main wash, just to give you an idea of just how much detergent we were like overusing. So detergent buildup and wash routine was a huge trial and error thing for us in the beginning. And I constantly felt like I failed. And I was constantly like rinsing and hand wringing the diapers because that's the easiest way I found to get the detergent out. Because you can run rinse and spin cycles all the time, but doing it by hand just seems so much more effective. And I would be running rinse and spin cycles probably still now if that was the case. But, you know, it is trial and error. Just like with the systems, you're going to have to try different things to see what works for you and your family. Wash routine, troubleshooting leaks. There are many different reasons you could be getting leaks, so troubleshooting those. But if you have an issue, it does not mean you failed. Trial and error is a thing in literally everything in life. And just because you're having some instances where things may be not going the way you planned on it going, it doesn't mean you failed. And I remember when I had the detergent buildup issue, I was like, wow, I am terrible. Like, I should just not do this. Like, I should quit. This is just so much extra work. And you know what? I am so glad I didn't, because I absolutely love cloth diapering. It'd be silly for me to give up cloth diapering because of an instance that just didn't work for us. So that is something I wanted to share. If you're going through a hard time with cloth diapering right now, you are not the only one. Reach out. There are so many people who will support you through the process. There are people who know some tips and tricks that may be super helpful to you that you're not aware of now, like the rinsing and hand wringing. I probably would have just kept rinsing and spinning, and we would have been here for literally ever rinsing and spinning. So there are some really knowledgeable people in the community, and there are just super helpful people. So if you're having trouble, just reach out to somebody, reach out to a community and see what tips and tricks people have. Some people think of things that I don't think of. Like, you guys know, I say that all the time. Some people are super creative and just have knowledge that I don't. And I'm not afraid to say that. I love hearing knowledge from other people where I don't have that knowledge. This whole thing is just about learning and growing. And it's weird to say that cloth diapering has given me more knowledge, not even just about cloth diapering, but about life and trial and error and all these sorts of things. So it's kind of cool to see. But yeah, if you're having issues, please reach out to somebody. There are some empowering, encouraging, supportive people in this community. Also, while we're on the topic of like troubleshooting problems and trial and error, meaning you're not failing, it's also okay to take a break from cloth if you need it. That is another thing I learned. Taking a break doesn't mean that you're completely done with it. If you're completely done with it and it just really isn't working out for you, that's one thing that's totally okay. You tried it and you saw what it was like, and if it doesn't work for your family, it doesn't work for your family. But if you just need like a mental break to get away from it a little while and then come back to it, that is okay. In fact, it might make you better when you come back to cloth diapering. And I've taken breaks previously, and when I go back to cloth diapering, I realize how much I do absolutely love it, and taking the break was just so much needed for me. And again, cloth does not, I hear this all the time in the community, but I want to stress it. Cloth does not need to be all or nothing. Some people do cloth part-time. Some people send a child to daycare with disposables and they come home and do cloth. Some people only do cloth when they're home and don't do it when they're out. Cloth is what you want it to be when you want it to be there. So if you need a break, take a break. I promise it may even end up benefiting you when you come back to it. But if you need a break, take a break. Do not feel guilty. It is okay. Something I also learned that kind of goes along with taking a break, I will get into it a little bit more too, is that your preferences between the cloth diapering systems may change. And what I mean by this, so there was one point in time when our stash was made up of mostly flats and covers. Now, as you guys know, flats take some type of folding, no matter it be like a origami, Pikmin, neat, like you guys get it. It takes some kind of folding, even pad folding. I just felt like there was a time period where I just didn't have the time. I was so overwhelmed. Grace had a lot of medical issues going on, and we were constantly like in and out of ERs and hospitals and things like that. And it was just very overwhelming. And I just felt like, again, I didn't have the time for it. So changes in what you prefer may happen too, and that is a-okay. So if you have a stash of all flats and you're like, oh, I just don't have this time at this point in my life, that is okay and it happens. And don't feel bad about getting your stash made up of mostly flats and then it not working out later in time because of just like a lifestyle change or a quick change in your pace of life, you know? You can't predict when some things are gonna happen, and you shouldn't feel guilty for knowing that you love a system, but it's just not working for you in the moment, and you just wanting to switch some of it out for something else. That was something I felt super guilty for, and my husband was like, I don't know why you're feeling so guilty. Like, just sell what you have and get some other stuff. And I was like, yeah, but then you have to go through the process of selling, and I literally just bought all this stuff, and you know, I just feel so guilty. And it was stupid, honestly, for me to feel guilty just because something didn't fit in our lifestyle at that point in time. I could always go back to it if I wanted to. Again, guys, it's not an end-all be-all situation. Just because you have a stash of all-in-twos and eventually maybe you want to try pockets, sell some of what you have and get some pockets, you know? It's not an end-all be-all. And if something isn't working for you, it's just not working for you. And if it's that time period in life or if it's just in general, it is okay. And that was something that I really struggled with, like I said, when we had a flat stash and, you know, I just didn't have the time to fold them. And it seems so silly that, you know, I feel like I didn't have the time. But I was just so overwhelmed and so filled with anxiety with everything going on that mentally I just couldn't do it. And again, it's okay. It's not a make or break situation. Things change. So that is something I wanted to bring up. And my last point also kind of goes along with change. And this could also really affect people's mental space if they let it, because absorbency changes happen. And they can happen often, and sometimes it's not, oh, well, my baby pees more, so they need more absorbency. Sometimes it's, wow, my baby's not peeing nearly as much, so I need less. So that is something I've learned. Absorbency changes happen, and sometimes they happen frequently. Sometimes it keeps steady for quite a while, and sometimes it might spike or sometimes it may decrease. So absorbency changes, you kind of need to go with the flow. I really kind of wasn't expecting big changes or so many changes, if that makes sense. So Grace has changed so much. So when we first started, she really wasn't peeing that much. I only used one insert. Then randomly one day, she was completely leaking everywhere out of all of her diapers. So I added 2 inserts. And then one day she started flooding diapers. So then I started using flats and covers. And then, you know, it's just like a whole game. And then she went back to, now she only needs 1 insert after needing 2 previously when she was younger. So you need to kind of go with the flow of things. And, you know, I'm someone who needs everything to be planned and precise, and you know, I just need to be able to know what's coming, and with that, you don't. So it's kind of a go with the flow thing that I wasn't used to. That kind of, it's so weird to say, but cloth diapering kind of like transfers into your life in other areas, where I'm also more of a kind of go with the flow person now, where I used to have everything scheduled to a T. And if we went off that schedule, everything mentally for me was just crazy. So absorbency changes come and go. They increase, they decrease. Like you heard me say, at one point Grace only needed 1 insert, then she needed 2, then she went back to 1. everything just kind of changes, and it's actually taught me a lot, even though it's cloth diapering. So that is something I wanted to share. Absorbency is not always linear. So that was something that I kind of was not expecting. I just thought, you know, when baby grows older, they need more absorbency, and sometimes that's not the case. So I did want to share that as well. But in general, those are the things that I've learned through my first year of cloth diapering. I'm sure I've learned a lot more as well. I'm just not thinking of other things right now. Those were the first things that came to my mind when I was thinking of what I had learned. And again, guys, I really hope this helps someone. And if you're someone out there wanting to start cloth diapering, just do it. Just try it, give it a try, see what works. And guys, always, no matter what other people say, stay true to yourself and your family and do what is best for you and your family. That is definitely my biggest takeaway from this entire thing. Do what is best for you and your family, and do what makes your family happy and what works best for you guys, because in the end, that is what matters. So thanks guys for joining me for this video. I know I said I wanted it to be short, and it is super long. But I really appreciate you guys sticking with me through this. I appreciate all of you guys, and this has been an awesome year, and I wish I would have started sooner, like I said, but I'm here now and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm just so glad that I was able to share with you what I learned during my first year, and I look forward to also telling you guys what I learn as time goes on. Because like I said, there's always stuff to learn and there's always areas to grow, and it's weird how some things in cloth diapering transfer into other areas of your life. Okay, but before I talk anymore, thanks guys for sticking with me, and I really appreciate each and every single one of you. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't already, make sure to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks guys again. I appreciate each and every single one of you.